Hello everybody, welcome to the backyard. Working on another project here. This is the beta version of the prototype of what's going to be our maple syrup evaporator. And yeah, it's fall time, not syrup time, but we're getting this all straightened out and ready to go for the spring. So we did our first run and it worked okay. I'm going to do some reworks and I'll show you what we did and what we're going to do. Basically the way this works, we have 3 of these steam table trays, or hotel trays they're called. We got 2 more over there. I modified these, I put some handles on them for easier picking up. And basically I just stacked all these cinder blocks together, or on top of each other, and had some old barbecue grill grates that I've acquired to hold firewood. Blocked them up with some rocks so air can get underneath. General concept is you put the steam table trays on the cinder blocks, you build a fire underneath, and that gets the sap that are in the trays boiling and evaporating the water out so you have syrup. The one little trick, if you want to call it that, is the chimney. The chimney is the cinder blocks. I stacked them, well, you can just kind of look at it and see how I stacked them to allow smoke to go up through these center holes. So this worked well, but the problem was the trays were a little bit low, so I'd say there's maybe not quite a foot between the bottom of the tray and the grates. So there wasn't a lot of space for you to mess around with putting more wood in there for the fire. And also I'm going to put these grates on some bricks so they're more level, and that's going to bring it up even more. So I'm going to put a 3rd layer here. Also, I wasn't sure how I thought I liked the idea, but I'm not sure if I liked how just the edge of the pan is laying on the cinder block. So I'm going to try setting it like this so the heat just comes up and hits the bottom of the tray rather than heating the side as well, because you're not always going to have a full tray of sap, and if it's only a half or quarter full or whatever, the heat is still hitting the side of the tray and you might kind of overheat the tray. So I'm going to rework this and fire it up and see how it goes. I'm just going to put water in these trays and see how it boils. So here's a better detail on how I'm doing the chimney. This is the back. Here's the side. Put these back cinder blocks on with just a little bit of overlap. Then I got 1 block, and then 2, right like that. And you can see how that works. I also got the grate in here, blocked up on bricks. Then to continue the chimney, now you take the 1 block and bridge the middle between those 2 you just set. Align that a little bit, and again you can see the smoke can go straight through. Okay, let's see how it goes. So one thing that I've heard, and I've kind of already learned about evaporating sap into syrup, is that you want a real hot, fast fire. And us New Englanders, we're spoiled on hardwood for wood heat, you know, if you burn it in a wood stove or something. But with something like this, you don't want a slow fire that'll last a while. You just want lots of heat. So I have, well, these are some pieces of fencing, so that's probably, I don't know, some sort of softwood. This is deciduous, it's hardwood, but it's quite old. It's a couple years old and the pieces are small, so they do burn pretty fast as well. But I am going to get some pine or spruce or something, slab wood from the sawmill, and slice that up, and that ought to burn pretty fast and hot. So I just spread the fire out and put some more wood on. Then I put the trays on, and I sealed the sides with bricks. Now I was discussing the problem I had before was only the well, this bottom and the sides were getting heated when I did it before, and I wanted just the bottoms to be heated. But the way this is, the sides are still getting heated by the flame. Oh boy, that's getting hot. And you can see this water is already steaming, even though it's only been on just as much time as it's taken to put these 2 bricks down. I'm going to throw some more water in there. It's a little bit empty there. Alright, now that everything is thrown together, we can sit and watch it, make some observations. First observation, look at that, burning nice and clean, no smoke or anything. I also blocked off the front. I put a sideways cinder block on the bottom so the fire can get air, and also if you want to block off the air, you can put a brick there. Because my stacking and everything is a little bit cockeyed, I couldn't perfectly fit everything together, but that'll be straightened out later. But you can peek in there, everything is burning real nice. And you can't see it anymore because that the firewood has finally fully caught, but a few minutes ago when some wood that I just threw in there was starting to catch, it was smoking, and there was smoke coming out from these holes and maybe a little bit from the gaps like there. And the issue with that is you don't want the smoke near the syrup or the soon-to-be syrup because it'll give it a smoky flavor. So you want to seal all this as well as possible so the only smoke is coming out the stack. But I think given, oh, you can see a little bit of, actually that might just be steam. Nah. Anyway, I think given how not square everything is, this is pretty good. And also now all the wood is lit and burning, and even if there are some exhaust fumes coming out, it's not smoke, so it really should be fine. I think I could easily, when I'm doing the actual syrup, I could just wait for all this wood to get caught really well before I put the pans and the sap on. The other thing to observe is that there is a temperature gradient from front to back, as you might imagine. The rear tray is the hottest, and then the middle is the medium, and the front is the lowest. So leave a comment down below if you know more than I do. My initial thought was, well, I was definitely going to transfer the syrup from one tray to another, just ladle it across and then add to the first tray with fresh sap. My idea was to have the fresh sap there where it's the hottest, it'll boil off the most water, and then transfer it to there and then there where it's going to finish, where the heat is lowest and slowest. However, as the sap gets closer to being done, the boiling point goes up. I believe finished sap or finished syrup is, is it 7 degrees-ish above the boiling point of water? And the boiling point depends on your elevation, but I say you're at sea level, the boiling point is 212 degrees, so add 7 to that, 218 degrees, let's say. I don't know if the front tray will get that hot, so I'm going to run this for a while and see what happens. The other possibility is that I could put the sap in there where it gets warmed, and then work it over. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Also, what I could do, I can get the sap mostly done either which way, and then take it out of here and transfer it to just a pot where I can more controllably boil it to the proper temperature. Well, a few more thoughts as I'm sitting and thinking and watching it. When I spread the fire out, I spread it out fairly evenly, but I'm thinking if I still spread it out but keep more of the fire in the front, that'll keep a little bit more heat in the front, so this is less of a warming tray and more of a boiling tray. And then of course the back two trays will still be hot because all the exhaust is going back up the chimney. Also, this is a lot more tame than the first attempt when I just had 2 bricks or 2 cinder blocks and the trays were sitting down on their edges, so that it was very close. The wood was the firewood itself was almost touching the bottom of the tray. So what I might do is, for the fire grates, block it up on 2 bricks rather than 1 to get the fire just a little bit higher up, and then, like I said, keep the fire towards the front, and that might work out pretty well. And one last thing, as I was dumping all the water out, I noticed on the rearmost tray there was a fair amount of ash and stuff that had gotten in there, and the front two didn't seem to have too much of that, but I've only been running this for half an hour or so. So I'm thinking possibly a piece of window screen mesh, metal of course, over the trays, and you could easily pull it off when you're transferring sap or pulling out syrup or whatever, and that screen might help keep some of that ash out. Of course you can always filter it later, just another thought. But for the moment I'm pretty happy. Sun's starting to go down, and the girlfriend said she was thinking about making some molasses cookies, so I'm going to go in there and help her make that. So I think that was a pretty good second trial run. Still burning really nice and clean. Very happy with it. So that's it for now. Once again, leave a comment down below if you have any tips or tricks or experience to share. Hit the like button if you like this, and I'm sure you did. Hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with this project as it progresses, and in the spring we'll be making real syrup. Thanks for watching, everybody. And oh, I always put this in the description, but if you like living vicariously, I have a Patreon account down there, and also a email address that you can donate via PayPal if you want to keep beer in the fridge and engines in the garage and all that. I appreciate it. Helps keep the wheels turning, but I do this for fun. I like making videos, I like doing stuff, so that's that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and come on back for more.